Hi, and welcome to the SVSU Monthly Podcast. I'm your host, Katie West, the Public Information Coordinator for the SVSU. I'm here to help you, our community members, stay well informed about what's happening in our schools. This podcast is, more or less, an audio version of the newsletter that we send out every third Friday of the month during the school year. So, let's jump right in. Work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen. Conan O'Brien, American comedian, writer, and TV host. August 17th is National Massachusetts Day. The best of what's around. Please join us in welcoming the new administrators to the SVSU. This episode is full of a couple biographies of these new administrators kind of sprinkled throughout. So our first one is Deborah Guyden. She is our new Associate Director of Student Services, serving Bennington Elementary School and Pownell Elementary School. In her 7th year with the SVSU, Deb Guyden is excited for her new adventure as the Associate Director. Ms. Guyden started as a special education teacher, later serving as the lead teacher for Bennington Elementary School. She said, "I felt that it was time to take the next step in my career and grow and learn more as a leader." Education is actually a second career for Ms. Guyden, the first being in the hospitality management industry. She first began teaching in 2014, receiving her master's in education degree 17 years after receiving her bachelor's degree. "I've always been in an industry that served people," she said. "My inspiration for becoming an educator came from my son, who had an inspirational and impactful teacher early in his life. That teacher mentored Ms. Guyden through her early years of education and still acts as a friend and guide to this day." Ms. Guyden enjoys traveling with her husband, who she has been with for 30 years. They have one son who will be graduating college this August, and Ms. Guyden lives in the Berkshires, where she enjoys spending time outdoors, walking, and newly this summer, learning how to play golf. Update information. Update your contact information with your students' building's front office staff. It's really important that the SVSU has the most up-to-date phone numbers and email addresses for you. That's how you get messages like this newsletter, but also other really important messages. We use this information to relay news of school closures, emergencies, and other things. Calendar updates. The first day of school for SVU, ESD, MAU grades 6 through 9 and all grades at AMHS will be August 30th. SVU, ESD kindergartners and Fisher Elementary pre-kindergartners will have a half day that day. MAU-HS grades 10, 11, and 12 will start on August 31st. All SVU ESD students and Fisher Elementary School pre-K students will have half days September 1 through 8. There will be no school on September 4th. Thank you to Associate Principal Ben Brownell from Bennington Elementary School for stepping up and serving as interim principal last school year. We are happy to welcome you back as Bennington Elementary's Associate Principal. Thank you to Principal Terrence Killery for continuing service at Molly Stark Elementary School following a transition from Associate Principal to Principal for this school year. Thank you to Associate Principal Sarah Case for transitioning her service from splitting time between Pownell Elementary School and Shaftesbury Elementary School. She will be continuing this school year solely serving Shaftesbury Elementary School. Thank you to Lori Berard for taking on more responsibility at Woodford Hollow Elementary School with the role of school supervisor. Educational support team. Did you know that every building has a support team for struggling students? If your child experiences a challenge as they return to school, socially, academically, or even behaviorally, parents and teachers can rely on educational support team at each building. The educational support team includes teachers, counselors, and behaviorists, along with school administration and parents. The team discusses the supports needed, sets goals, and creates a plan to mentor, which could include accommodations and interventions to help children meet their goals and improve their school success. To access your school's EST, please reach out to your school counselor. Internet, food, and healthcare resources. For information on the Affordable Connectivity Program, call 1-877-384-2575. There are food bank resources available through the Bennington County Food Resources website. And the Southwest Vermont Medical Center has a financial assistance program for healthcare. Reach out to them for more information. Here is another biography on one of our new administrators. This is Mark Given, the Director of Information Technology here at SVSU. Working in information technology for a school is new for Director of Information Technology Mark Given, but as he will readily admit, he loves it. In the profit world, there is really a drive to use technology to save money or make money, he said. In the education world, it's using technology to run the academic system. The focus is more around how it can be a tool for education. In his first career, Mr. Given was in the Army for 7 years as a tinker. Stationed in Germany for 4 years, he got out of the service after returning from Desert Storm and stayed in Germany for an additional year as a civilian, working in systems for an automobile design company. Eventually, Mr. Given made his way back to the United States, working in Brattleboro, and then moving to New Jersey, where he worked for a corporation for about 30 years before retiring and moving his family back up to his native Massachusetts. Retirement didn't last long, obviously, for Mr. Given. He began working for Suzer IT, which is the company that he currently works for and is contracted through the SVSU. I love it, he said. It's interesting because after 30 years of doing tech in a for-profit world, it's kind of become old hat. Education is so much different. I never thought that at 55 I'd be looking at something exciting again. Mr. Given enjoys working with the educators at the SVSU. He enjoys the technology team and others, helping to upgrade and enhance the SVSU's technology. He enjoys the outdoors, working on his property, and spending time with his family. He has 3 children and 3 dogs. He enjoys hiking, gardening, and spending time with his wife. Back to school health information. Welcome back to the start of the school year. It's very important that all health forms get completed and sent back to the school nurse. As a reminder, please contact your school nurse if your students need to take prescription medication during the school day. Students may not transport or keep any medication on them while in school. That includes over-the-counter medications. All medications are kept in the nurse's office and available to students as needed. Please also keep in mind that the Vermont Department of Health requires that all schools collect and assess immunization records. If your student is missing an immunization, you will receive a letter in the mail, which is why it's so important to update your contact information. Students entering kindergarten must provide documentation of 5 doses of diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccine, 5 doses of the polio vaccine, 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, 3 doses of the hepatitis B vaccine, and 2 doses of the chickenpox vaccine. But if your child has previously had chickenpox, no vaccine is necessary, but an exemption is needed, and you can submit documentation or sign a health department form to make that. If the student is enrolling in the 7th grade, they must also receive all immunizations that I just listed, and then 1 dose of the tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccine. These immunizations requirements are also applied to students in any grade who are entering new to the school from outside of the SU. Our next administrator that I'm going to talk about is Dr. Richard Arroyo, who is the new principal at Bennington Elementary School. Having the opportunity to work in an elementary school feels like coming full circle, said Dr. Richard Arroyo. The Connecticut-born and raised administrator started his career in education as a custodian. He's worked in colleges, high schools, middle schools, and now in elementary school. He enjoys spending time with the community he's working with and is excited to jump feet first into Bennington. I've already been out volunteering, meeting people, listening to music at the splash pad, he said. Dr. Arroyo is fiercely passionate about community and mentorship, hoping to create a positive working environment for his staff. If it's a fun place to be for the people who work here, it'll be a fun place to be for the people they work with, he said. Dr. Arroyo is the first to admit that he didn't choose Bennington, but that Bennington chose him. The new principal and his wife moved to Vermont a couple of years ago. He enjoys spending time with his wife, daughter, and stepdaughter. He is a proud season ticket holder to the New England Patriots, and he enjoys going on drives and listening to live music. The school schedule. For Fisher Elementary, regular days are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. For Arlington Memorial High School, regular days are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mount Anthony Union High School, regular days are 7:50 to 2:05. Mount Anthony Union Middle School is 8 o'clock to 2:15, but students may arrive starting at 7:30. Shaftesbury Elementary is 8:30 to 3, and students may arrive starting at 8. Bennington Elementary is 8 to 3 with a late bell ringing at 8:25, so make sure you're on time to school. Molly Stark is 8 to 3. A late bell is at 8:25, but also keep in mind that Molly Stark dismissal begins at 2:50. Monument Elementary School is 8 to 3. Similar to Molly Stark, there's a late bell at 8:25 and dismissal actually begins at 2:40. Pownell Elementary School is 8 to 3 with 8:25 late bell, and Woodford Elementary School is 7:30 to 2:30. For a list of all of the school administrators' contact information, you can go on our website and pull up the physical copy, the e-copy of this newsletter. All right, our next administrator that I'm going to talk about is Ty Snell, who is the assistant principal at Molly Stark Elementary School. Growing up in Keene, New Hampshire, Ty Snell knew that she wanted to be an educator. At 14, she got her first taste of helping others by coaching gymnastics in her hometown. After high school, she attended Keene State College, started working as a long-term substitute teacher, and then got hired as an elementary teacher in Brattleboro. I was there for about 8 years teaching a bunch of different grades, she said. Mrs. Snell then became a first grade teacher at Molly Stark Elementary School, where she will now be serving as assistant principal. One of the most consistent through lines of Miss Snell's career has been the support of others. She's had colleagues who supported her in the classroom, coworkers who have pushed her to pursue becoming an administrator, and supervisors who have encouraged her to keep moving forward. Mrs. Snell is excited to work as a team with the new Molly Stark principal, Terry Killery. I'm really invested, she said, noting that she jumps into her work feet first. Mrs. Snell is over halfway through the Principal Leadership Endorsement cohort with classes through Castleton University. This program is supported through the SVSU, connecting current employees with the opportunity to become administrators. Outside of being an educator, Mrs. Snell is also a huge animal lover, runner, and outdoor enthusiast. She shares her home with her chickens, dogs, cats, a husband, and her daughter, Audrey. Bennington YMCA After School Program. There is an online form that you can access if you go online to view this newsletter. And filling out that form will enter you into a lottery drawing for the after-school program for the 2023-2024 school year. This is the BFYMCA after-school program, and it's offered in partnership with the SVSU. The form must be completed by Wednesday, August 23rd. So if you're interested, make sure you do that soon. And the last new administrator we're going to talk about is Taylor Robertson, who is the assistant principal at Pownell Elementary School. For Taylor Robertson, his new role feels like going home. The new assistant principal for Pownell started in Pownell in 2011, only taking a brief break from the building this past school year, where he worked as co-principal at Bennington Elementary School for the latter part of the year. When the opportunity arose to go back to Pownell in a leadership capacity, it was hard to pass up, he said. Bennington Elementary was my home for 7 months last year, but I'm excited to go back. Entering into his 12th year with the SVSU, Mr. Robertson's eager to be a role model is as strong as ever. I'm passionate, he says, being able to relate, coming from a rural area, building those connections, it's really important. Mr. Robertson is excited to work with Bethany Lorge, the principal at Pownell Elementary, as well as the staff that he has gotten to know well throughout the years. He feels ready, though, he says, noting that working with the Bennington Elementary School staff last year solidified his decision to become an administrator. I'm just really grateful for the opportunity, he said, and thankful that the SVSU is so supportive. We really are given the opportunity to put some of our professional learning into our jobs. When Mr. Robertson isn't busy at work, he's spending time with his wife, who is an English teacher at Mount Anthony Union High School, and their 2 children. We do a lot of the typical rural things, he said, noting that they spend a lot of time on their property in Cambridge, New York. This summer has been busy with spending time outdoors with family and taking their children to Old Orchard Beach. Thank you so much for listening to the SVSU Monthly Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Katie West. Thank you for listening this month. And if you liked our podcast, please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or leave us a review. If you would like more information or to view the full version of this newsletter, including pictures, go to our website at www.svsu.org.